Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/AskReddit by Planet Reddit. What's something people think makes them unique but really doesn't? There are 7 billion people in the world right now. Even if you're 1 in a million, there are still 7,000 of you. Coming from an extremely rural area, I see a lot of the I'm not like other girls. I'm a real country girl who likes to sit around bonfires and go mudding. I don't think they realize how much it sounds like they come off an assembly line. 3 months ago this girl on my FB feed was like that. Then she started dating someone new. Now it's another set of things she's into. I knew someone like that. She's like a liquid who forms the shape of whatever you pour her into. She's dating a jock. She'll out-jock any jock in the jock. Now she's dating a Republican? Oh. Hell. The Republicans' manifesto just happens to be her mantra. Now she's dating an atheist? How many atheist conventions can she sign up for? Trick question. She's signed up for all of them. Twice. Actually saying they're quirky and unique. I'm quirky. Look at my glasses. No lenses. Surprise. It's hysterical how quickly this turned into a what's something you ducking hate about other people thread. Shitty tattoos. Only God can judge me. I got the cursive quote on my ribs because I'm original. Dot. Anchor on bicep. Angel wings. Tree with roots. Birds fluttering. Nautical compass. Fuuak. Loving to laugh. I'd say 9 out of 10 online dating profiles include some variation of the phrase I love to laugh. Really? You enjoy laughing? How special. Everyone else I know hates laughter with a passion and breaks into fits of rage every time they start giggling. I'm just imagining this guy sat at a cafe when he's told a joke. Chuckles a little then just screams duck. Throws his coffee cup on the ground. Flips his table over. And then storms out. I'm just so goddamned amused. Sexual deviance. It really doesn't seem rare. Just undiscussed. Speak for yourself. Kerr. Missionary for Queen and Country. I say. Missionary accomplished. American dad. Being random. Holy shit, is that still a thing? I thought the lol so random thing died off with the emo ra memes I love you in dinosaur crowd. I had to use the internet meme database to figure out what this spork shit even refers to. It's like a bunch of people still reciting all your base are belong to us. I'm so weird and quirky for liking the 3rd highest selling manga right now. I am fluent in 3 languages. English, sarcasm, and profanity. That makes you the face behind every personal ad ever written. I'd say you're unique for making a personal ad in 2016 instead of using a dating website like a normal human. Sarcasm is like salt. It's good in small doses, but the second there is too much it's intolerable. I wish I could enjoy fandoms. But the annoying people I have encountered that literally scream when someone mentions their fandom make me not ever want to admit that I like a movie, TV show, or book. Ugh. I like Doctor Who for a bit. I didn't let anybody know. Because of the association. I like Undertale. I didn't let anybody know. Because of the association. I like Sherlock. I didn't let anybody know. Because of the implication. Undertale. Yes. That took me by surprise. I'm 30. Grew up on SNES games like Earthbound. I loved Undertale. Then I went online and met some fans. Row. Cannot relate at all. Still a great game. I'm a nerd geek for liking superhero movies. No, you're not. You're the vast majority of the movie-going public. You are 100% the norm. Real nerds don't sit around in their high school years playing video games and reading science fiction novels. Real nerds spend just a few hours every month in a theater watching superhero movies. Then they buy a pre-faded Captain America t-shirt from Target. Listen, pencil neck, it's cool to say you're a nerd, but it's still not cool to be a nerd. Worked as a psychic for a few months. Am not psychic. Psychics do not exist. So I have a ton of these. I can tell that you're a really great judge of character. You seem like someone who notices things most people miss. You have a long memory for people who have crossed you. And you don't easily forgive. You're a really chill, open-minded person. But you can't stand bigots. You get a ton of unwanted male attention. Which is upsetting because there's this one guy who isn't giving you the attention you deserve. Pretty female specific. The list goes on. Please do an Ask Me Anything. I'd love to see it. Because as much as psychics are hogwash, there are definitely skilled psychics who are good at blowing their clients' minds. I genuinely want to know if there's really just a bunch of canned lines that resonate with anybody or if there is an element of reading the person involved. I'm sure it varies. But seeing as I'm still blown away by how many people whose intelligence I do acknowledge completely buy into this idea that psychics can tell your future. People I consider to be much smarter than me sometimes. It's very weird. I'm a model or I'm a photographer. It meant more before the internet enabled every good-looking person to be a model and every person with a camera to be a photographer. Also, there we are a lot of models who basically paid $300 for a photoshoot so an agent could make them a star. I have friends who have been approached about stuff like this. They brag that they're so beautiful because some talent agency wants to make them a model. A couple $100 later and they are exactly where they started. Same thing with voice acting. Strangely enough, I know a guy that made a decent amount of money selling people their dream of becoming models. I was shocked to find out over half of his business was parents trying to pimp their kids. I guess every child is adorable in their parents' eyes. Liking macabre subjects. I'm into serial killers as much as the next guy, but it's hardly rare. Edit. I'm not hating. Disturbing. Creepy. Unsettling documentaries are my jam and I've watched so many true crime shows lately I'm convinced everyone is going to murder me. I love it all. But so do tons of other people. If it was rare, things like Last Podcast on the Left or horror movies wouldn't be as popular as they are. Exactly. I mean, we've all fantasized about murdering the people around us. I speak my mind. I don't care what anyone thinks. Ugh. I'm brutally honest, blunt. A friend of mine explained it best. People who claim to be brutally honest are more concerned with the brutality than the honesty. I'm not a typical girl. I watch Netflix and eat pizza. And I don't care. I'm 14 and thesis deep. The whole fleet of people who think they're so deep and go around quoting philosophical catchphrases completely out of context to show off. This guy at my work asked me if I read philosophy books. I said no. I primarily read fiction, as I like to be entertained or I'll get somewhat bored with what I'm reading. He responded, well, I like to think. He then proceeded to literally chuckle to himself. The best part is that this guy is legitimately one of the most inept people I've ever met. Tell him it's great that he's pursuing his passion. And with enough practice he'll eventually get good at it. Claiming to have OCD because they like to keep their surroundings clean. Biggest eye roll. I have actual diagnosed OCD and I'm a freaking slob. So this always makes me roll my eyes really hard. Like I wish a misplaced piece of paper was what bothered me because I could just move it. But instead I have massive anxiety and am constantly late because I messed up counting the seconds at a stoplight when someone asked me to move so they could get out the bus exit. The always relevant poem for this topic by you/poem for your sprog. I have to sort my books. She cried, with self-indulgent glee, with senseless, narcissistic pride. I'm just so OCD. How random. Guys. I smiled and said, then left without a peep and washed my hands until they bled, and cried myself to sleep. Source. Join our community Discord, link in description. I like to travel. Somewhere on the profile of every 30-something's online dating profile. Half the women alive in the US apparently have been to Machu Picchu. Having an exotic name. Or giving one to their kids. No. Changing the spelling of crystal to crystal is not going to make your child unique. Kimberly. KVI Aitlin. You what VIE. Thinking about life. The universe and everything. If you ever catch yourself on the street or on a bus looking around at all the other people and thinking, look at all these dull people. They must never think about anything. I'm the only one here who has even scratched the surface of life. You need to pull your head out of your ass. xkcd.com link. Liking spicy food and being a dong about it. Nobody cares that you can handle the hottest curry at the restaurant. It's been multiple years since this was disproven as unique, but I still run into the guy's girl almost every day. I love Marvel. I know it's so dorky. I mean, not really, the movies are fairly popular. A lot of people like them. My perfect night is just drinking a beer and watching action movies. While most girls want a nice dinner. Okay. Can I not have dinner with my husband? Then watch movies? I just don't get it. These are the same girls who don't have girlfriends because girls are too dramatic. I also met a girl once who was essentially a TA for the day. As was I. We were asked to come to a convention to tell people about our respective programs at our college. My professor knew I was top of my class, so he asked me and said just dress business casual. You are being the face of the program, so nothing too fancy. Just try to look semi-nice. No problem. I just wore a dress. The other girl at the table next to me was in the robotics program. Took one look at me and loudly, and I am 100% serious. This is exactly how it happened. Said to her teacher, "Oh sorry, I didn't dress up. I guess I'm just too worried about having a brain to care about how I look." It sounded like some made up, forced dialogue in a story I would read on Reddit. I just stood there shocked, but I decided that if she felt the need to judge me or make me uncomfortable, I would force her to interact with me. I sat and talked to her the entire time. Asked about her program, what kind of robots she had built and what they could do. She was visibly annoyed at how nice I was the entire time, but damn. I was just there to get people interested in graphic design. Not to be judged by a girl with greasy hair, jeans and an oversized shirts. Blah. It still bugs me a little. I am so done with the mentality of I'm one of the boys and other girls are stereotypical Trey, so I'm not friends with them. I was totally guilty of this in high school, when almost all of my friends were guys and I felt like I was one of the boys. As if that made me special and superior to other women. I was nerdy growing up, and it seemed that most of the people with similar interests to me were male. Today, my social circle is still mostly male, but many of my closest friends are female, and most of them are also nerdy in some way. One of my female friends recently told me I don't really identify with women. They tend to be too stereotypical Trey, and I was really annoyed with her, and told her so. Women are so often conditioned to feel like we are in competition with one another and like we have to be better than other women, mostly by being more like men. It's really insulting to 50% of the population, and I'm sick of it. Edit. Holy smokes. My first gilding. Thank you so much, kind internet stranger. As much as it sucks that so many people were able to identify with this, I'm glad we could find some camaraderie. And I hope we can do better going forward so less people experience this. Having a terrible childhood. It seems depressingly common. Whenever one person comments about it, there's normally a long string of other confessions of horrendous childhoods. It's miserable. I'm never having kids. And by terrible I mean genuinely awful. Rape, abuse, death, etc. And people like to play the "my childhood was worse than your childhood" game. And people with normal childhoods then think they're not allowed to be upset, scarred by the one bad thing that happened to them. No. My pain being worse than your pain doesn't make yours go away. Edit. Other commenters have referred to this as pity poker and suffering Olympics. Phrases I find delightful. This. My best friend was molested by a family member as a child. Experienced her parents divorcing because one parent cheated on another with the other parent's best friend. And a whole host of problems. A rough childhood. But she still worked through it and found happiness. Got into a good university. Would have never known any of that happened to her until she opened up, and you know what? She's crazy sympathetic about my tragic childhood, having a parent die. Never once has she minimized it or made it into a competition about who had it tougher. We both had entirely different, unique experiences. Her support, knowing what she's been through, is worth gold to me. And I hope that I can be 1/10th a good friend to her as she has been to me. Engineers who attribute quirks to being an engineer. There are intelligent, Socially awkward zookeepers. Shut up and sit down. I'm an engineer. Edit for SP. Anyone who rebels from the norm but then just conforms completely to their newfound fringe community. For example, goths, hipsters, emo, grunge, etc. Direct quote from a friend at college. God, I hate people who act normal and conform. Let's all wear black shirts on Wednesdays. That'll show em. Not even a hint of irony or self-awareness. That reminds me of a political cartoon where a crowd of people dress up all punk, point out a single dude in a nice shirt and tie and yell conformist. I'm real low-key chill and will generally be the nicest person you'll ever meet. But if you start acting like a dong and duck me over, I can be the meanest, nastiest beach you've ever known. So, you're a human being capable of experiencing a variety of emotions? Bro, you're just like your horoscope. Really unspecific. I'm really mean and nasty and will generally be the biggest beach you'll ever meet. But if you start acting like a nice person and gain my trust, I can be the nicest, most low-key chill person you've ever known. Saying they're nerdy simply for liking something that's somewhat mainstream. I like a global sci-fi franchise that has earned over $6 billion. I'm such a weirdo. I'm really into Game of Thrones, one of the most popular shows in the history of television. I'm so nerdy. From my high school days, wearing edgy or alternative clothes that they got from Hot Topic or Spencer's, to include, but not limited to, vintage Nintendo jewelry, anything with Jack Skellington on it, goth clothes with a million zippers that do not zip, and Che Guevara shirts. The Che shirts are my favorite since the fact that these are bought in a shopping mall, which is the epitome of capitalist consumerism. The people that buy these might as well take a dump on his communist grave. Yeah. Well, I bought my Che t-shirt from Cuba when I stayed there at an all-inclusive resort. So there. Being cynical. I hate when people make a big deal about shitting on things other people love. Just like when Pokemon Go came out and there was this huge wave of "oh, that is so stupid and a waste of time, mother ducker." If you had stuff going on in your life, would you really give a shit either way about it? I don't play Pokemon Go because I'm not 10 and I have shit to do. Proceeds to scroll through Facebook news feed. I've got a really weird sense of humor. Really? What do you find funny? This TV show that everyone loves. Being awkward. Everyone is ducking awkward at some point. Most people figure it out and move on. Also, the word awkward has become a catch-all for every minute social infraction. Whoa. This took an awkward turn. I'm cringing just thinking about it. The worst is everyone thinking they have social anxiety and it makes them cute and quirky or something. Feeling awkward every once in a while doesn't mean you actually have an anxiety disorder, and it totally discounts everyone who does. Being a wine expert. I really don't care how well you can explain grapes. This comment is punchy without being overly assertive. With an oaky afterbirth. In every YA novel, a girl enjoying books seems to always show how real and quirky they are. These people just want a free pass for being rude all the time, and are even trying to spin their disregard for other people's feelings into a positive personality trait. It's scumbaggery at its finest. Smoking weed. Even I smoke, but the 420 culture is so cringy and ouchy sometimes. You mean people don't want to see pictures of that sick bowl I just packed? I find that hard to believe. I've experimented with a lot of drugs but never had the urge to wear a shirt with the plant on it or get a tattoo associating myself with the drug. It's like someone getting a tattoo of a cheeseburger. Oh. You must really love cheeseburgers. The whole only 90s kids will understand thing. I am indeed a kid from the 90s, but I have no pretense that the mass media I consumed during that time is now part of some lost and near mythic set of knowledge that sets me apart from everyone else. There are number 90s kids anymore. Only sad adults. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.